Shalom, good morning.
Good morning, Boker Tov.
Welcome.
Shalom, good morning, Boker Tov.
Welcome back to the study. We are going to read this week 2 Torah portions, Matot and Massei, and it's going to finish and we'll conclude the book of Bamidbar. And after Bamidbar, we have one more book, and then that will be the end of the yearly cycle. And we'll read Devarim, and we'll be completely through. So we are reading today in Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 30, beginning with Parashat Matot, which means tribes, the tribes of Israel. So in this Torah portion, we're talking about when a person makes a vow or if they make an oath, and some of the laws regarding that. So we're going to look into that right now. There are 2 words that we should know. So one of them is neder, which is a vow. It's the closest translation is a vow. So this is like a commitment that you're going to do something, and specifically, mostly in relation to Yahweh. And then there's shvua, which is more like an oath, and that is usually between 2 people. So that can be like some kind of agreement, a treaty, a pact. So those are the 2 words we're going to hear in the Hebrew right now. So we'll read it and then we'll come back and talk about some more places in the scriptures where we can see these 2 examples. Okay, so we'll say the blessing and then we'll begin.
Baruch Yahweh Hambora.
Baruch Yahweh HaMevorah Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, ונתן לנו את תורתו. Baruch Atah Yahweh נותן
Torah. Amen.
Okay, so again, we're reading in Bamidbar, which is Numbers chapter 30. And I'm going to share it here on the screen. And a link to this website that we're using is also in the email that I sent to everyone. So you can join us there too. Find the site for yourself. So chapter 30, verse 1.
And Moshe spoke to the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, This is the word which Yahweh has commanded. When a man vows a vow to Yahweh, or swears an oath to bind himself by some agreement, he does not break his word. He does according to all that comes out of his mouth. Or if a woman vows a vow to Yahweh and binds herself by some agreement while in her father's house in her youth, and her father hears her vow and the agreement by which she has bound herself, and her father has kept silent towards her, then all her vows shall stand, and every agreement with which she has bound herself stands. But if her father forbids her on that day that he hears, then none of her vows nor her agreements by which she has bound herself stand. And Yahweh pardons her because her father has forbidden her. But if she at all belongs to a husband, but bound by her vows or by a rash utterance from her lips, by which she bound herself, and her husband hears it, and he has kept silent towards her on the day that he hears, then her vows shall stand, and her agreements by which she bounds herself do stand. But if her husband forbids her on the day that he hears it, then he has nullified her vow which she vowed, and the rash utterance of her lips by which she bound herself, and Yahweh pardons her. But any vow of a widow or a divorced woman divorced woman, by which she has bound herself, stands against her.
Let's hear the verse 9 in the Hebrew.
וידבר משה אל ראשי המטות לבני ישראל לאמור, זה הדבר אשר ציווה אדוני. איש כי ידור נדר לאדוני, או הישבע שבועה לעצור איסר על נפשו, לא יחל דברו, ככל היוצא מפיו יעשה. ואישה כי תדור נדר לאדוני, ואסרה איסר בבית אביה בנעוריה, ושמע אביה את נדרה ואסרה, אשר אסרה על נפשה, והחריש לה אביה, וקמו כל נדריה, וכל איסר אשר אסרה על נפשה, יקום. ואם הני אביה אותה, ביום שומעו כל נדריה ואסריה, אשר אסרה על נפשה, לא יקום. ואדוני יסלח לך, כי הני אביה אותה. ואם היו תהיה לאיש, ונדריה עליה, או מבטא שפתיה אשר אסרה על נפשה, ושמע אישה ביום שומעו, והחריש לך, וקמו נדריה, ואסריה אשר אסרה על נפשה יקומו. ואם ביום שמוע אישה יני אותה, והפר את נדרה אשר עליה, ואת מבטא שפתיה אשר אסרה על נפשה, ואדוני יסלח לה. ונדר אלמנה וגרושה, כל אשר אסרה על נפשה, יקום עליה.
Verse 10. And if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound herself by an agreement with an oath, and her husband heard it, and has kept silent towards her, and did not forbid her, then all her vows shall stand, and every agreement by which she bound herself stands. But if her husband clearly nullified them on the day he heard them, then whatever came from her lips concerning Go ahead, you read.
Her vows or concerning the agreement binding her, it does not stand. Her husband has nullified them, and Yahweh pardons her. Every vow and every binding oath to afflict her being, let her husband confirm it, or let her husband nullify it. But if her husband is altogether silent at her from day to day, then he confirms all her vows, or all the agreements that bind her. He confirms them, because he kept silent toward her on the day that he heard. But if he nullifies them after he has heard, then he shall bear her crookedness. These are the laws which Yahweh commanded Moshe between a man and his wife, and between a father and his daughter in her youth, in her father's house.
Sorry about that. I got startled by a rose petal that fell. Sorry. Okay, let's hear this in the Hebrew.
ואם בית אישה נדרה, או אסרה איסר על נפשה בשבועה, ושמע אישה והחריש לה, לא הני אותה, וקמו כל נדריה, וכל איסר אשר אסרה על נפשה יקום. ואם הפר יפר אותם אישה ביום שומעו, כל מוצא שפתיה לנדריה ולאיסר נפשה לא יקום, אישה אפרם, ואדוני יסלח לה. כל נדר וכל שבועת איסר לענות נפש, אישה יקימנו ואישה יפרנו. ואם החרש יחריש לך אישה מיום אל יום, והקים את כל נדריה, או את כל אסתריה אשר עליה, והקים אותם, כי החריש לך ביום שומעו. ואם הפר יפר אותם אחרי שומעו, ונשא את עבודה. אלה החוקים אשר ציווה אדוני את משה בין איש לאשתו, בין אב לביתו, בניחומי הבית.
Okay, so we're going to continue right into chapter 31. It's a double Torah portion, so it's a little bit longer, but it's not, we can do it, right? So chapter 31, verse 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, take vengeance for the children of Israel on the Midianites. After that you are to be gathered to your people. And Moshe spoke to the people, saying, arm some of yourselves for the campaign, and let them go against the Midianites to take vengeance for Yahweh on Midian. Send 1,000 men from each tribe of all the tribes of Israel for the campaign. So there were supplied from the tribes of Israel 1,000 from each tribe, 12,000 armed ones for the campaign. And Moshe sent them on the campaign, 1,000 from each tribe. Them and Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, on the campaign, with the set-apart utensils and the trumpets for sounding in his hand. And they fought against the Midianites, as Yahweh commanded Moshe, and slew all the males. And they slew the sovereigns of Midian with the rest of those who were pierced, Iwi and Rechem and Sur and Hur and Reba, the 5 sovereigns of Midian. And they slew Bilam, son of Beor, with the sword. And the sons of Israel took all the women in Midian captive. With their little ones, they took as spoil all their livestock and all their possessions. Let's hear to verse 9 in the Hebrew.
פרק ל"א. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, נקום נקמת בני ישראל מאת המדיינים, אחר תאסף אל עמך. וידבר משה אל העם לאמור, החלצו מאיתכם אנשים לצבא, ויהיו על מדיין לתת נקמת אדוני במדיין. 1,000 למטה, 1,000 למטה, לכל מטות ישראל תשלחו לצבא. וימסרו מאלפי ישראל 1,000 למטה, 12,000 חלוצי צבא. וישלח אותם משה 1,000 למטה לצבא, אותם ואת פנחס בן אלעזר הכהן לצבא, וכלי הקודש וחצוצרות התרועה בידו. ויצבאו על מדיין, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה, ויהרגו כל זכר. ואת מלכי מדיין הרגו על חלליהם, את אבי ואת רקם ואת צור ואת חור ואת רבע, 5 מלכי מדיין, ואת בלעם בן בעור הרגו בחרב. וישבו בני ישראל את נשי מדיין ואת טפם, ואת כל בהמתם ואת כל מקניהם, ואת כל חילם בזזו.
Okay, verse 10.
And they burned with fire all the cities where they dwelt, and all their settlements. And they took all the spoil and all the booty, both of man and beast. And they brought the captives and the booty and the spoil to Moshe, and to Eleazar the priest, and to the congregation of the children of Israel, to the camp in the desert plains of Moab, by the Jordan of Jericho. And Moshe and Eleazar the priest, and all the elders of the congregation, went to meet them outside the camp. But Moshe was wroth with the officers of the army, with the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, who had come from the campaign. And Moshe said to them, have you kept all the women alive? Look, they are the ones who caused the children of Israel, through the word of Bilam, to trespass against Yahweh in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of Yahweh. And now slay every male among the little ones, and every woman who has known a man by lying with a man, you shall slay. But keep alive for yourselves all the female children who have not known a man by lying with a man. And you camp outside the camp 7 days. Whoever has slain any being, and whoever has touched any slain, cleanse yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, and cleanse every garment and every object of leather and all the work of goat's hair and every object of wood.
Let's read over 20.
ויביאו אל משה ואל אלעזר הכהן ואל עדת בני ישראל את השבי ואת המלכוח, את הסלל, אל המחנה, אל ערבות מואב, אשר על ירדן ירדמו. ומשה ואלעזר הכהן, כל נציגים העדה נציגתם, אל המחנה, וישבו ועל כתפי חיל, שרי האלפים ושרי המאות, הבאים מצבא המלחמה, ויאמר עליהם, הם כל נקבה, הנה היו לבני ישראל בדבר בלעם, תמסור מעל באדוני על דבר פעור, ותהי המגפה בעדת אדוני. ועתה ירגו כל זכר בטף, וכל אישה יודעת איש למשכב זכר הרוגו, וכל הטף בנשים, אשר לא ידעו משכב זכר, החיו לכם. ואתם חנו מחוץ למחנה 7 ימים, כל הורג נפש וכל נוגע בחלל, תתחטאו ביום השלישי וביום השביעי, אתם ושביכם. וכל בגד וכל כלי עור, וכל מעטה עזים, וכל כלי עץ, תתחטאו.
Okay. Verse 21. And Eleazar the priest said to the men of the campaign who went to battle, this is the law of the Torah which Yahweh commanded Moshe. Only the gold and the silver and the bronze and the iron, the tin and the lead, every object that passes through fire, you put through the fire, and it shall be clean. Only let it be cleansed with the water for uncleanness. And whatever does not pass through the fire, you pass through water. And you shall wash your garments on the 7th day and be clean, and afterwards come into the camp. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, count up the plunder that was taken of man and of beast, you and Eleazar the priest, and the heads of the fathers of the congregation. And you shall divide the plunder into 2 parts, between those who took part in the battle, who went out on the campaign, and all the congregation. And set aside a levy for Yahweh on the men of battle who went out on the campaign, 1 out of every 500 of man, and of cattle, and of the donkeys, and of the sheep. Take it from their half, and give it to Eleazar the priest as a contribution to Yahweh. And from the children of Israel's half, you shall take 1 of every 50 of man, of the cattle, of the donkeys, and of the sheep, of all the livestock, and give them to the Levites guarding the duty of the dwelling place of Yahweh. I read to verse 30. Let's hear that in the Hebrew.
ויאמר אלעזר הכהן אל אנשי הצבא הבאים למלחמה, זאת חוקת התורה אשר ציווה אדוני את משה, אך את הזהב ואת הכסף, את הנחושת, את הברזל, את הבדיל ואת העופרת, כל דבר אשר יבוא באש, תעבירו באש וטהר. אך במי נידה יתחטא, וכל אשר לא יבוא באש, תעבירו במים. וכיבסתם בגדיכם ביום השביעי, וטהרתם, ואחר תבואו אל המחנה. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, שא את ראש מלכוח השבי באדם ובבהמה, אתה ואלעזר הכהן וראשי אבות העדה, וחצית את המלכוח בין תופסי המלחמה היוצאים לצבא ובין כל העדה. והרי מותם מחץ לאדוני מאת אנשי המלחמה היוצאים לצבא, 1 נפש מ500 מן האדם ומן הבקר ומן החמורים ומן הצאן. ממחציתם תיקחו, ונתת לאלעזר הכהן תרומת אדוני. וממחצית בני ישראל תיקח 1% מן 50, מן האדם, מן הבקר, מן החמורים ומן הצאן, מכל הבהמה, ונתת אותם ללוויים, שומרי משמרת משכן אדוני.
Okay, very good.
And Moshe and Eleazar the priest did as Yahweh commanded Moshe. And the booty remaining from the plunder, which the people of the campaign had taken, was 675,000 sheep, and 72,000 cattle, and 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 human beings in all, of women who had not known a man by lying with a man, and the portion for those who went out on the campaign was in number 337,500 sheep. And the Levi unto Yahweh, and the levy unto Yahweh of the sheep was 675, and the cattle were 36,000, of which the levy unto Yahweh was 72, and the donkeys were 30,500, of which the levy unto Yahweh was 61, and the human beings were 16,000, of which the levy unto Yahweh was 32 beings. So Moshe, up to 40.
All right. Let's hear that in the Hebrew.
ויעש משה ואלעזר הכהן, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה. ויהי המלכוח, יתר הבז אשר בזזו עם הצבא, צאן 670,500, ובקר 72,000, וחמורים 61,000, ונפש אדם מן הנשים אשר לא ידעו משכב זכר, כל נפש 32,000. ותהי המחצה חלק היוצאים בצבא, מספר הצאן 330,000 ו7,500. ויהי המחץ לאדוני מן הצאן 675, והבקר 36,000, ומחסם לאדוני 72, וחמורים 30,500, ומחסם לאדוני 61, ונפש אדם 16,000, ומחסם לאדוני 32 נפש.
Okay, verse 41. So Moshe gave the levy which was the contribution unto Yahweh to Eleazar the priest, that Yahweh commanded Moshe. And from the children of Israel half, which Moshe divided from the men who campaigned. Now the half belonging to the congregation was 337,500 sheep, and 36,000 cattle, and 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 human beings. Then Moshe took from the children of Israel half, 1 out of every 50 drawn from man and beast, and gave them to the Levites who guarded the duty of the dwelling place of Yahweh, as Yahweh commanded Moshe. And the officers who were over thousands of the campaign, the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, came near to Moshe. And they said to Moshe, your servants have taken account of the fighting men under our command, and not a man of us is missing. So we have brought an offering for Yahweh, what every man found of ornaments of gold, armlets, bracelets, and signet rings, and earrings, and necklaces, to make atonement for ourselves before Yahweh. And Moshe and Eleazar the priest received the gold from them, all the fashioned ornaments, and all the gold of the offering that they presented to Yahweh from the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds was 16,750 shekels. The men of the campaign had taken spoil every man for himself. And Moshe and Eleazar the priest received the gold from the commanders of thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tent of meeting as a remembrance for the children of Israel before Yahweh. So we read to the end of chapter 31. Let's hear that in the Hebrew.
ויתן משה את מכס תרומת אדוני לאלעזר הכהן, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה. וממחצית בני ישראל, אשר חצה משה מן האנשים הצובעים, ותהי מחצת העדה מן הצאן, 330,000, 7,500, ובקר 36,000, וחמורים 30,500, ונפש אדם 16,000. ויקח משה ממחצית בני ישראל את האחוז אחד מן 50 מן האדם ומן הבהמה. ויתן אותם ללוויים שומרי משמרת משכן אדוני, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה. ויקרבו אל משה הפקודים אשר לאלפי הצבא, שרי האלפים ושרי המאות, ויאמרו אל משה, עבדיך נשאו את ראש אנשי המלחמה אשר בידינו, ולא נפקד ממנו איש. ונקרב את קורבן אדוני, איש אשר מצא כלי זהב, את עדה וצמיד, טבעת עגיל וחומז, לכפר על נפשותינו לפני אדוני. ויקח משה ואלעזר הכהן את הזהב מאיתם, כל כלי מעשה. ויהי כל זהב התרומה אשר הרימו לאדוני, 16,750 שקל, מאת שרי האלפים ומאת שרי המאות. אנשי הצבא בזזו איש לו. ויקח משה ואלעזר הכהן את הזהב מאת שרי האלפים והמאות, ויביאו אותו אל אוהל מועד, זיכרון לבני ישראל לפני אדוני.
Okay, now we read to the end of the chapter. We can go back and kind of recap. So we began talking about the two words in Hebrew, right? The neder and the shvua. And we were thinking about how neder is more like a vow, a commitment that you perform, and usually it's between you and Yahweh. So some examples of this in the scriptures, for example, when Jacob is going to go to Laban's home, and he tells Yahweh, if you go with me and you bring me back, I will give a tenth. That's what he said, right? I will give a tenth. That's in Bereshit 28:20. So he made a vow to give the 10%, right? And there's also Yipsa, who asked Yahweh, he said, if you give me victory in a battle, then I will offer the first thing that comes out of my house, right? So he made that vow. And also with the story of Samuel, the prophet Samuel, his mother told Yahweh, if you give me a son, I made a vow, I promise that I will give him to your service, right? And there's also a verse in Ecclesiastes 5:4. When you make a vow to Elohim, do not delay to pay it, for he takes no pleasure in fools. Pay that which you have vowed. So it's kind of giving the importance of keeping your word, right? That you made a vow to Yahweh. It is better, in the next verse, verse 5, it is better not to vow than to vow and not pay. Right? Then it says, not allow your mouth to cause your flesh to sin. So be careful with your words, and with guiding your words. Another example of the vow, which is the nether, is the Nazarite vow. So those are all examples of a nether, of a vow. But it's also talking in this verse 32. It's also talking about a shvua, which is like a promise or an oath, right? And usually this is between people, between two nations, between a group. So let's see. For an example of this is a lot of times in the scriptures it mentions that Yahweh has made an oath to give the land of Israel. A lot of times we say we think of it as a promise, but really it's an oath that he made. So it's a little stronger than a promise, right? When Shaul, another example, when Shaul said that the army could not eat of the fruit, they were going through this grove, and he told them not to eat the fruit until they had victory over their enemies or something like that. And Jonathan didn't hear, and he ate of the fruit, right? So that's an example. Let's see. Eleazar made an oath to Abraham to go to Laban. Well, before it was Laban, to go find Rebecca and bring back a wife for Isaac. But he promised, he made that oath not to take Yitzhak to that land, right? He was supposed to bring the woman, but not take Isaac. The agreement that the two spies made with Rahab is considered a shvua, and the language that they use there is that oath. And also the promise that David made to Bathsheba that her son Solomon would be king. She says, didn't you make an oath to me that my son would be king? So those are some examples of how that is used. And we see here in chapter 30, verse 2, really interesting how Yahweh is giving in the family a way for the husband. It's a way of protecting his wife and children, specifically his daughter, right? His wife and daughter. So interesting that when the man made a vow, he could not break it. He had to keep his word. If the woman made a vow and he heard her, he could annul that vow. So this could be like in a sense of something, she said something hastily, or in haste, he can annul that, right? And the same thing with the woman with the daughter who is living with her father. And then once she was married, then it was her husband who had to break or nullify that vow. So we see like a structure and order and a way of protecting the family. Anything you wanted to mention or to add?
Just in the case of Jephthah, who made a promise to Yahweh, a nether to Yahweh, and how he said, the first being that comes out of my house, I will offer it to Yahweh. And then he was suffering because he had to give his single daughter to the service of the Mishkan. So he didn't think that maybe the one that was coming out of the house will be his daughter. And sometimes we say things not thinking about the consequences. So just to be careful not to sin, because it's better not to bow than to bow and sin.
Right. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to say about the
On the
Midianites.
vengeance of the children of Israel and the Midianites, I believe Moshe had all the right to be angry at the ones who went to the campaign, the leaders, because it was the women in the first place that were used to entice the children of Israel to sin in the case of Baal Peor. So it was the women that had to be, in a way, punished, right, for that sin, and they are bringing them to the camp, and that could be a big problem for the men because something like what happened in Bel Peor could happen again. So it's something that we need to think about, right? In the case of the Brit Hadashah, that tells us not to get unequally yoked with unbelievers. It's a case in which this is the reason behind, like in the case of Baal Peor, the people of Israel sinned and they ended up worshiping their gods. And that's going to happen to our children if they unite to unequally yoked women or men that are not sold out to Yahweh, that are not serving Yahweh. Most likely they will go away from serving him because it's easier for someone that is not serving Yahweh to go to the world and then take our children with them if they are not strong enough. So it calls my attention that it says that is a vengeance for Yahweh. Take vengeance for the children of Israel. And then it says, and Moshe spoke to the people, saying, arm some of yourselves for the campaign and let them go against the Midianites to take vengeance for Yahweh on Midian.
I was thinking that it's kind of interesting. I wonder if you can see it in a way that like the Midianites brought this problem on themselves because originally Yahweh had not told the Israelites to go into the land or to conquer it, right? We don't know what was going to happen with them or what the plan was, but then
they were fearful.
Yeah, Balak was afraid. He was afraid, and he came up with this plot against Israel. And because of this plan against Israel, then he had this revenge or this punishment that comes back on him. So I don't know if you can see it that they brought it on themselves in a way.
Yes, because he came and cursed them without any cause. Just because he saw that Israel had conquered other lands.
So we're going to continue with the rest of the parasha on Wednesday. And I believe this next part is when the tribe of Reuben and some of the tribe of Gad decide that they want to take their inheritance on this side of the Jordan River. Right, so I think that's what's next. We'll look at that on Wednesday. We can say the blessing to close.
Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata betocheinu. Baruch atah Yahweh, noten haTorah. Amen. Well, I'll see you on Wednesday, and may Yahweh bless you and be the salt of this earth. and the light for this world. Shalom.
Shalom.